our vision definitely is to become the organization of choice and blueprint for lottery in Africa. Our mission per the Act 722 is to create moments of hope and happiness through exciting lottery games that generate revenue for national development and make stakeholders ultimate winners. The NLA, we have many objectives that we always look up to. Key among them is to raise revenue for the nation and for other purposes stated in the National Lotto Act. Also, as the institution to conduct National Lotto, to conduct as part of the operation of National Lotto, a lottery to provide care and protection for the physically or mentally afflicted, the needy, the aged, orphans, and destitute. Again, one of our mandates is to operate a game of chance or enter into collaboration, partnership, or joint venture with any person, society, association, or corporate entity in accordance with existing laws. Over the years, we have adopted for ourselves and continue to conduct 7 daily games played every day of the week. And I'm sure if you check on your screen, we've listed our games from Sunday to Saturday evening. Our lotto marketing companies or retailers sell our games. In recent times, we have also licensed third-party collaborators, like our online partner KGL Group, Wuchi, Dewa, and Super 6. That's for Global Fan and LackWeb, who operate our games online. Again, we have also licensed a good number of private lotto operators within the last 2 to 3 years. Madam Deputy Minister, in focusing on our 3 major achievements within the last few years, and we'll limit ourselves again, as you stated, to the last 2 years. We have many achievements, but for the purposes of this presentation, we'll stick to these 3. They are global recognition, stabilizing and raising revenue, revitalizing our Caritas Lottery platform, and our Good Causes Foundation. We set out to reconnect with our friends on the continent. In doing so, one of the first things that I did was, together with my management team, embark on trips to our neighboring countries of La Côte d'Ivoire, and also to find out what they do differently from us to boost their revenue. More especially when La Côte d'Ivoire copied and lent this whole organization of Lotto from Ghana. Today, their proceeds far exceed that of ours, and in multiple proportions. Again, we're also to learn from them and incorporate into our operations some of the best practices. One of the striking things that I observed in Côte d'Ivoire was how they had used proceeds of Lotto to also spread cheers and support many communities. And all these projects were sponsored through the process and by the process of lottery, and we sought to implement same. Mr. Dramani Coulibaly, the Director General of the Loterie Nationale de la Côte d'Ivoire, popularly known as LONASI, that is the lottery body for Ivory Coast, also doubles as the president of the African Lotteries Association. I leveraged my relationship with him to get the NLA back into the association after being kicked out a few years ago for non-payment of dues and not conforming to the ALES ethics, values, and regulations. I'm happy to inform you that the NLA is now a member of the African Lottery Association and is working on its certification for responsible gaming. Many thanks to our Director Legal and her strong team of 2 general managers who have also supported us thus far in making sure that we get certified for responsible gaming. We are hoping that the next sitting of the World Lottery Association and its Committee on Responsible Gaming will finally grant Ghana our certification for responsible gaming. You have a lot to gain from it if you are certified for responsible gaming. And we've gone through all the processes and finally submitted our final proposal to the WLA for consideration. On my numerous visits to Nigeria, again together with some management members, and also to meet Mr. Lanre Gbajabiamila, the Director General of the Nigerian Lottery Regulatory Commission, to discuss the payment of royalties to Ghana, since they have been using our draw numbers for the past 25 years without paying a dime to Ghana. When you get to Nigeria, they refer to the Ghanaian game as Ghana Lotto. The Nigerians have enjoyed the benefits of playing our games because of the high standards of our draw integrity, but had not paid a pesewa to Ghana over the last 25 years. These trips yielded results, and that I'll go into and discuss further when I get to our second achievement, raising revenue. Again, in May 2022, at the seminar of the African Lottery Association conference in Morocco, Casablanca, and Marrakesh, respectively, the NLA did put in a bid to host the seminar on responsible gaming in December 2022. After the back and forth, the African Lottery Association granted the NLA the opportunity to host the seminar on responsible gaming for the first time. It is instructive to note that Ghana had been a member of the ALA in times past, and as I said, we only lost our standing within it some few years ago. We even had, and for the benefit of the records, one of our former DGs, Colonel Gbipi, was even ALA president some years ago. After the NLA winning the bid to host the seminar on responsible gaming, we did not rest there. In October 2022 in Vancouver, Canada, at the summit of the World Lottery Association, we once again got the opportunity to raise at the General Assembly and to meet the leadership of the World Lottery Association, and invited Madam President, Madam Rebecca Paul, and the General Secretary of the WLA, Madam Lane Reuter, to the NLA's 60th anniversary. For this, they graciously agreed, as it was the first time the president of the association was visiting the Sub-Sahara to attend an event of the World Lottery Association. Until 2006, NLA was known as the Department of National Lotteries, DNL, and was birthed with the assistance of the Maltese government, who seconded the Maltese official, Mr. William Francis Brennan, to Ghana to help set up our lottery institution. This was at the request of Ghana's first president, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, after a delegation of Ghanaians who visited there realized that there was a game that was raising revenue for the people of Malta and assisted them in so many ways. The Maltese government responded to the call of Osajifo and gave us the first Maltese official to assist us in setting up this institution over 60 years ago. Unfortunately, the NLA had not been there to say thank you for over 60 years that the Maltese government did help us to set up what we have today as the NLA. We could not have held this program without the blessing of our mother authority in Malta. Therefore, in November 2022, the board granted approval for some board members and management team to visit Valletta, Malta, to invite the Maltese government and the Malta Gaming Authority to the Grand Durbar of our 60th anniversary. Let me pay glowing tribute to the assistance offered to the NLA in getting our Maltese friends back. With this, we want to say a big thank you to the Maltese High Commissioner to Ghana, His Excellency Jean-Claude Malia, and Ghana's High Commissioner to Malta, Her Excellency Barbara Akoko Benisa. These two diplomats facilitated our trip together with the Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs, Madame Shirley Ayoko Botwe, and granted us safe passage to meet with our mother authority in Malta. Again, in Malta, we're blessed to also have a conversation with the Honorable Speaker of the Maltese House of Representatives, Honorable Anglu Farrugia, who handed over the 1962 Act of the Maltese Parliament that gave the Maltese government and granted approval for the establishment of the DNL in Ghana. Today, we have the very original copy back at the NLA, and we're preparing our museum to also host all these important historical facts. The Maltese government again also sent representatives to attend the Grand Deba and presented once again to the NLA the original and the first appointment letter of Mr. William Francis Brennan, who was seconded as a Maltese public official and our first Director General of NLA, detailing how much he will be paid, what he's entitled to, and how much the Maltese people will be investing in him as he set out to set up this beautiful and strong authority. To deepen these ties, the Maltese Minister for Foreign and European Affairs and Trade visited the NLA during a visit to Ghana. And again, this was early part of this year. So after 60 years, Ghana finally reconnected to Malta and the NLA to its mother authority through games. This has renewed the ties between our two authorities, and the NLA is seeking to benefit from the wealth of experience of our Maltese counterpart, who have been operating for the past 100 years as an authority. Again, we hosted the conference, as I spoke about earlier, the seminar on responsible gaming, and we had several booths for some exhibitors to display their wares, their products and services. The seminar brought together leaders and guests from over 20 lottery bodies across Africa, Europe, and North America to Ghana. And as I also stated earlier, the 4-day event that took place between the 7th of December 2022 to the 10th of December included all these events, the seminar, the Grand Deba, and all the unwinding in the capital city of Accra. Our Grand Deba was attended by the Honorable Chief of Staff, Madam Akosua Frima Osei-Opare, His Honor Justice Yoni Kolendi, who represented His Lordship, the Chief Justice of the Republic, Justice Kwesi Eni-Yeboah, the Honorable Ministers of State, Honorable Members of Parliament, our revered chiefs, our partner banks, our lotto marketing companies, our private lotto operators, our third-party collaborators, stakeholders, our well-wishers, our African and World Lottery Association guests. We are also privileged to have His Excellency the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, as our special guest of honor to press the knob for the first winning number, allowing history to repeat itself after 60 years, when the then Prime Minister of Ghana, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, also pressed the first winning number that gave a proud Ghanaian £5,000 that very day. Hosting the ALA seminar in Ghana did not only bring over 100 global leaders of lottery to our country, most of whom were experiencing Ghana for the first time. By in doing so, we also contributed to revenue, tourism, and the hospitality industry. It is instructive to note that when His Excellency the President posted myself and my deputy to the NLA, we had some few challenges. We met a rising debt of over 15 million of unpaid wins on the assumption of office. As of now, we have cleared a greater part of the debt, and we continue to make efforts together with my very competent and solid management team to clear the outstanding debt. We have now developed the Instant Pay, which is a *389*1000# for players to instantly redeem their wins of up to 1,200 cedis after every evening draw. In partnership with our corporate lotto marketing companies, LMCs, we call them, we have also instituted the prize payment centers in our regional offices nationwide for wins up to 12,000 Ghana cedis. Again, when we got to the NLA, as I said, when His Excellency posted me and my deputy there, we had to also, together with the board, renegotiate some deals that were already existing. For instance, the KGL Group, as at 2021, were paying 25 million cedis to the NLA as our share of the revenue, and for them as our online partner. After several months of renegotiation, and for the avoidance of doubt, per the earlier arrangement, the KGL was supposed to continue paying 30 million in 2022, 35 million in 2023, and so on. But we renegotiated it to start from 50 million cedis in 2022, with 3 million cedis in addition for stabilization fund of our LMCs, and 2 million cedis as their support for good causes, since lottery is all about good causes. Someone may ask, what is stabilization fund in the NLA's architecture? We believe that technology and digitalization has adversely affected our old partners, LMCs, who used to sit in the kiosk and who sit in the kiosk. To cushion them in this age of digitalization and for them to also remain competitive, we continue to also support them from our online partner as a share of the contribution towards cushioning them. In addition, and again this year, the governing board, together with the management, we also renegotiated the KGL deal in a 10-year license for them to start with 65 million cedis revenue to NLA this year. We have been aggressive in exporting our games to other countries and for royalties, with a typical example I gave you earlier of the Nigerian experience, where for over 25 years they were playing our games and our numbers for free, where they pirate our numbers to pay wins in Abuja, Lagos, and across the Republic of Nigeria. We told our African brothers that we are happy that they continue to enjoy our games, but these games did not arrive by sudden flight. It had to take our management team, our staff, to develop this game. So Nigeria, to start with, will be paying the NLA through their partnership with KGL. They'll be paying 18 million cedis to the NLA as additional revenue to the NLA this year. And same with La Côte d'Ivoire, who also continue to also pirate our numbers. And in Ivory Coast, they call it Loto Ghanaian. The Ivorians, also through their partnership with our online partner, will be paying 13 million cedis to the NLA. This means that this year, the NLA, from our renegotiated deal with the KGL, will be paying 92 million cedis as their revenue share to the NLA. This is a major improvement and a major boost from what we inherited some 18 months ago. We have also begun engagements with Burkina Faso. And let me also state that some few months ago, we happened to also host another African Lottery Association conference in Marrakesh, Morocco, where we began negotiations and discussion with Burkina Faso and Niger to trade our games and collaborate with them. We believe that when all these also should go through, NLA can also rein in additional revenue to support national development. Licensing of private lotto operators. To sanitize the lottery space and aggressively deal with the activities of the axis of evil of illegal operators, the NLA started the process under my previous colleague, my predecessor, together with the board, to license these operators annually. Again this year, those who picked forms and are currently undergoing the scrutiny of the board paid 1.5 million cedis to enjoy our games. And also, if they also want to have a bite of the Veterans Administration Ghana's game, that's the VAG Lotto, they're also paying additional 500,000 cedis. This is so because the NLA operates the VAG game on behalf of the veterans of Ghana. And we also owe it as an obligation to support them on a monthly basis for their upkeep. The NLA, as part of the collaboration with the military, we support our veterans in terms of their medical coverage, in terms of their participation in international veterans activities, and also just last year, also presented them with a brand new 4x4 vehicle to aid the running of the Office of the Veterans Administration in Ghana. Again, the PLOs are required to also pay a fixed figure to support our Good Causes Foundation. We've signed on new collaborators as well. And these third-party collaborators, we are seeking to bring in more revenue and some innovative and exciting games. We currently have Zeta Technology, Blue Star High Tech, Fortune Synergy, among others. It is our considered belief that in the next 2 to 3 months, we will have Zeta, Fortune Synergy, and the rest also going live to develop a non-590 game for the Ghanaian public. Blue Star High Tech is also one of our TSPs, signed on by the board and also licensed as a PLO to also provide an end-to-end solution to also help us to combat the activities of the illegal operators. It is also important to note that our existing technical service providers of LOT and SIMNET also continue to support our operations by also offering terminals and supporting our LMCs to be able to sell our game. Our trip to the Caribbean nation of Jamaica last year, after paying a visit to their lottery operator and discussion with the biggest lottery operator in the Caribbean, the Supreme Ventures Limited, together with their local partner of Game Park Limited, I'm happy to inform you might also yield some very good results in the next few weeks. What we seek to do will be to introduce new games together with our partners from Jamaica. I'm sure it'll be exciting to play and watch a Jamaican game. Also, the NLA's machine that you see on your screen, we normally refer to it as our godmother machine, will be 26-year-old this year. And we believe that they have spent enough time drawing their numbers. We expect to receive new draw machines within the next 2 weeks, which will meet the WLA and the African Lottery Association standards. We are expected to launch our multiple draws by the first week of May. These multiple draws will also be seeking to also support the many players and also to bring in more revenue for the NLA and government. We are hoping that the Corporate Affairs Department in the coming weeks will also inform the public on the new times when agreed with our partner media houses. We continue to hold community draws to demystify the myths surrounding the draw process, since almost on a daily basis, the teaming public continue to harass my management and staff of winning numbers. The reality is none of them can provide you with a winning number. In our estimation, it's clearly and solely a game of chance. So, in demystifying these unfortunate thinking or the narrative and mentality of society, we host these community draws to bring the draw process closer to the community, to the people, and to the chiefs. We are hoping that when the times are agreed upon on the multiple draws, which is morning, afternoon, and evening, this will also augment what we're already doing. Revitalizing our Caritas Lottery Platform and Good Causes Foundation. The Caritas Lottery Platform, which is our engagement with third-party corporate Ghana and institutions, was established in 2012 to regulate consumer promotion, games of chance, raffles or draws by companies, individuals, and well-meaning Ghanaians. Having lost its verve after a few years of its launch, we decided to relaunch this brand, which will also bring us closer to corporate Ghana and help in the post-COVID rebuilding of our corporate institutions. This relaunch was performed by the Honorable Chief of Staff, the Honorable Akosua Afrima Osei Opai, on the 20th of October, 2021, when I assumed office. Also in accordance with the advice of the Office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice in August 2022, after our legal department and our team of lawyers petitioned the Attorney General to intervene in the encroachment of our territory by our colleagues from Gaming Commission. The NLA, through the advice and opinion offered by the Office of the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, again regained the lost control as the sole statutory body to the exclusion of all others to regulate all consumer promotional schemes with elements of chance, that's raffles, draws, point-based selection criteria, etc. This landmark opinion, in our view, brings finality to the age-long tussle between us and the Gaming Commission as to who has the sole mandate to regulate consumer promotion that has raffles, draws, point-based selection criteria as a format. Using the Caritas Lottery platform brings credibility to a company's brand. And again, I'm happy to state that the proceeds from the Caritas Lottery platform go in to support our Good Causes project. We have many companies on board now, FMCGs, banks, private companies, some of which, but a few, Agino, EcoBank, Fidelity Bank, Bolt Ghana, Bell Beverages, Casaprecon, Farm Milk, FBM Bank, Visa International, Rana Motors, Engbox, Melcom, among others. Airtel Tigo, and many other telecommunication giants as well. The Good Causes Foundation was also launched on 20th October 2021. It is the charity arm of the authority, spearheading our corporate social responsibility. Again, Section 2(3) of the National Lotto Act stipulates that conduct as part of the operation of National Lotto, a lottery to provide care and protection for the physically or mentally afflicted, the needy, the aged, orphans, and destitute children. The foundation aims to develop, implement, and maintain a structure based on 4 main pillars approved by the NLA Governing Board. These pillars include health, education, youth and sports development, arts and culture. Let me at this point also pay a glowing tribute and say a big thank you on behalf of the Governing Board, management, and staff of the NLA to our friends and colleagues from Ivory Coast who gave us $60,000 in 2021 to set up the NLA's Good Causes Foundation. Since then, we have undertaken many projects under the various pillars. Medical outreach in communities, donation of medical equipment to several hospitals across the country, refurbishment of recovery wards in Koforidua and the Central Hospital as well, and also that of the Tetekwashi Hospital. Also the support for the aged, the Weja Leprosarium, the psychiatric hospitals, support to individuals with medical ailments, among others. We have also, as part of our support to education, built smart labs for Bostal Institute, provided brilliant but needy students support with scholarship, refurbishing of schools across many communities, and establishing an IT lab in collaboration with Ask Ghana for schools in the Agona West municipality. Again, we have also distributed many educational materials and equipment for our remote schools. Let me commend the head and the officials of the Good Causes Foundation for their untiring effort and also for coming to the aid of the Ghanaian public when it matters most. Again, under youth and sports development, the NLA supported government's effort for the Youth Start program with 10 million cedis last year, with a promise of another 10 million cedis as our contribution towards government's effort in resolving youth unemployment. We also partnered with the Edumasa Hema through the Nana Sewa Brakatu Humanitarian Fund, Bees Making and Dressmaking Support and Industry. We supported female football groups, including the Hazakes Ladies. Under arts and culture, we continue to support our chiefs and people through festivals, and again, bringing our community draws closer to them. The celebration of our culture through festivals and our community draws also took us to many communities. Also, sometimes I don't know whether to put the Kwewu Easter as a religious festival or culture. but let me say religious to cultural festival of the chiefs and people of Kwewu. Then again, for the people of the Anwolo traditional area, the NLA was live during the Hogbechocho to support the chiefs and people through cash donations and community draws. We were in Ogwa for the Fetua Fashe Festival, doing same, and also to celebrate with the chiefs and people of Nsaoma Dwejui when they had their Ojua Festival, and provided support for Homowo and many others. Again, together with CTFM, we partnered them for the Heritage Month, the Heritage Caravan, which took place in the month of March. But there are some serious cases sometimes which do not form or come under any of these pillars. And when it matters most, the NLA comes to the aid of these people and communities. For instance, when we're called upon to support the people of Apiati during their unfortunate explosion, the construction of corn mill facility for the Gontin community, donation of office equipment and logistics to support some of the district and divisional offices of the Ghana Police Service, the support to the National Council on Persons with Disability, construction of mechanized boreholes and toilet facilities across the country. Simply put, we invest in these projects to fulfill our statutory obligation and giving back to communities in which we operate. And let our patrons know that when you do not win, because you won't always win, and when you do not win, your money supports national development. Honorable Deputy Minister, Madam Deputy Director General, distinguished friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen, our three most significant achievements form part of all the effort by both management, the board, and staff to shape the narrative, give the NLA a new image and branding, and arrive at this point. They have helped us achieve the following through our collective effort: revenue improvement, rebuilding the image and the brand of the authority through the Good Causes Foundation, regular interaction with our media friends, better engagement with internal and external stakeholders, better cohesion between staff and management between management and board, thereby creating industrial peace. Again, we believe that these engagements that we continue on periodic basis to have with our LMCs and PLOs also have contributed greatly towards the NLA's new image out there. Let me state that we still have challenges, but that's why we appoint leaders and we appoint heads to also manage these institutions. In as much as we continue to confront the activities of illegal operators on a daily basis, I must also state that we are also resolute in our resolve to partner government and the security agencies to also weed out the activities of these illegal operators. And I am confident that the NLA next year will also chalk more success, and we should be able to also give a better account of what we did in 2023. Thank you so much for having us, Madam Deputy Minister.
DG, that was so masterfully delivered. Okay. all the wonderful things that the NLA has achieved under the Good Causes Foundation. If this is 2 years, imagine 60 years of good causes. I'm just overwhelmed that I believe the next 60 years at NLA will definitely be better and brighter than the ones before. I was also particularly impressed about the fact that in the face of digital revolution, the NLA really knows its market, that although they have traditional patrons, even though they are unable to migrate everybody to the new era, you still have this fund, which you mentioned about, the stabilization fund, to be able to carry the older generation or older patrons along. And I'm also impressed about the fact that you are trying as much as possible to clear the legacy debts in terms of wins. You mentioned that out of 15 million Ghana cedis, substantial amount of that has already been cleared. I believe that is so important because it will help restore the integrity of your draws, and people know that when I win big, I'm getting some big amount within the shortest possible time. And it was also so refreshing that you mentioned that through exports to neighboring countries, you are expecting that in 2023, you get some 80 million Ghana cedis from Nigeria and 30 million Ghana cedis from Ivory Coast. That is so impressive, and especially when I watch the video of the Good Causes Foundation, I am more than convinced that a win for NLA is a win for Ghana, because you use your proceeds to help deprived communities and to help a lot of people. There's been times I've seen NLA post videos or pictures about boreholes, some facilities in rural communities, and then people just trivialize it. Maybe if you are in Accra and you can afford a bottled water, you don't know the value of some of these interventions. But if you go to rural Ghana, as we are all aware, we don't have 100% coverage in terms of access to water. People still need these facilities. They need the school buildings, they need the water, they need all the resources that will help them perform better in sports, arts and culture. They need the training, they need the libraries. So thank you so much for the thoughtfulness and learning the best practices from around the world, so that you will use the revenue to help the ordinary Ghanaian. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I will now invite your questions. If you have any question, this is the best time to ask. If you show your hand, you mention your name and affiliation, and then proceed to ask your question. John? Okay. And Agnes and Atta? Okay.
Thank you. Atta Mensah from Ghana News Agency. Yeah, I was also impressed with the Good Causes Foundation, some of the projects that you are undertaking across the country. I want to find out how much you have spent so far in implementing these laudable projects. Then two, you said when you went to Cote d'Ivoire, you learned, even though they learned lottery from Ghana, but they are making more profits or they are getting more proceeds. What good lessons you learned that you want to replicate them in Ghana so that we can also do more? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Agnes.
Right.
Hello, sir. You indicated that...
Please, your name and affiliation so that you can address.
My name is Agnes. I report for the Chronicle. So you said that you have a lot to gain from being certified for responsible gaming. So I'd like you to outline some of these benefits that you stand to gain. And then also, I want to know what conditions you need to fulfill in order to be certified, and if you have fulfilled these conditions. Thank you.
Thank you for the questions. We'll take the third and then go to... okay.
Thank you very much. My name is Daniel Benin from Onia TV. Director General, thank you very much for your speech. But I want to find out just a simple question. Nigerians, for the past 60 years, they have not been able to pay these royalties. But I think NLA, we have previous Director General in there. But why you? What is the secret that you use to convince such Nigerian people, and now they start paying us the royalties? What is the secret? What did you do to change all these board games?
Thank you for the question. John?
Yes, my name is John Awuni. I represent Kesvin. I have some two quick questions. First one has to do with the illegal lotto operators. What is the DG doing to stop that? And secondly, some industry players have concerns regarding the commission they receive. They say 35% is what they are currently receiving, and some legal and illegal lotto operators are currently paying between 38 to 40%. What is the Director General doing about the percentage of commission that the operators receive? Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll take Hanan for this round, and then, okay, there is another hand at the back. Okay.
Abdul Hanan from GH1 TV. DJ, I'd like to find out from you revenue generated for year 2022. I was hoping to hear that, and if you could kindly clarify. I heard the minister mention cities. These amounts that you've mentioned, 80 million and 30 million and 90 million, is it in cities or is it in, I just want clarification on that. Thank you.
So we'll take the last question for this round.
My name is Stephen Zuri from mynewsgh.com. If you look in today's daily guide, you see NLA staff busted for fraud. It has to do with some staff of the NLA, the IT department. Can he confirm or deny to us? And number two, can he go into detail and let us know how much these suspected criminals have been making of the NLA, and when was this detected? Thank you.
Thank you so much for the questions. I will invite DG back for his responses, but before that, I would like to acknowledge our media partners. We are live on GTV, Asase Radio, MX24, Net2 TV. On Facebook, we are streaming at Ministry of Information and also at Ocheman TV. Thank you so much for the questions. I will invite DG for his responses, and if possible, we will come back for follow-ups.
Our wonderful Deputy Minister, you did cut short our enjoyment in terms of our video, because we only gave you that of the education. And these are short videos. So we have one on health as well. So maybe after these answers, we can have that one through it. Then I'll come back for the next round. So on the question of how much we spent on good causes last year, touching lives, the board approved for the NLA management to spend up to 20 million cedis in touching lives. And with this, clearly, we believe that lottery is also all about good causes. For the year 2022, the World Lottery Association estimates that member bodies and countries, as part of good causes worldwide, contributed $94 billion towards good causes. And out of this $94 billion that the WLA, through its member authorities and associations, contributed to spreading cheers around the world, the NLA's contribution was 20 million cedis. I also got a question from a good friend on what we are learning from Ivory Coast. You know, I think one thing that I've observed with the Francophone countries is discipline. They are very rigid when it comes to their laws. The Ivorian Director General was telling me that when he assumed office, the illegal operators had about 60% of the market. Today, through their laws, through their swoops, they've been able to reduce the 60% market that definitely had the illegals controlling down to 9%. And I believe that's significant. So one of the strategies will be for us to also have multiple draws, partner the security agencies to conduct swoops. And I can confirm that last year and early this year, our partnership with the security agencies and apparatus, the National Security and the National Signals Bureau, led to many of these fraudsters and illegal operators also being busted. Ohim asked the question about Nigeria and how we've been able to also get them to pay. You know, if it was Ghana playing the Nigerian game, they wouldn't have allowed us to play for 25 years. They would have collected their money that day. So we needed to also have a very good discussion with them. I'm just trying to choose the words well. So through this engagement, through diplomatic effort, and through strategic partnership and collaboration, we also encourage Nigeria to also have their own national game, and then they can have the Ghanaian game as an aside. So last year, somewhere on the 12th of July, an NLA team, we were in Abuja to also help Nigeria launch its new game, which is a 649 game or so. The NLA's very old game, which is very popular on the African continent, we call it 590. That's 5 balls drawn out of 90 balls, as you normally see it on the screen. And it's the most popular within the sub-region. So clearly, we assisted Nigeria to have their own game. We also told them that in developing these games, the NLA goes through a lot. We pay our partners who carry it live, and then again as well, the draw panel is always represented by someone from the Ministry of Finance, representing the Finance Minister, one person representing the Chief Justice and the Judiciary, and myself, the Director General, either myself or my deputy or any of my directors or management members sitting to represent the Director General. So we go through a lot to develop these games. And and the former Director of Operations for the NLA, we embarked on this journey once again. We engaged and we also involved the government of Nigeria that if they want to continue enjoying our games, they must be willing to also pay their fair share. On the issue of commission, let me state that Ghana, we have the highest commission payment, which is 20%. In Malta, where the game originated from, they pay 7%. If you go to the United States and the United Kingdom, they pay 6%. If you go to Ivory Coast, they pay 9% on the commission. And then if you go to Jamaica, they pay 3% commission. In Ghana, we pay 20%, making it the highest in the world. The World Lottery Association, on several occasions, they've warned us to be very careful with the way we keep increasing this commission rate. The commission rate simply means that for our lotto marketing companies who are selling these tickets on our behalf, when let's say they sell tickets worth 100 cedis, they get 20% out of it. But as I stated, across the globe, ours is one of the highest. But we also have extraordinary circumstances, and we continue to also dialogue with our stakeholders and partners. We do not charge 35%. Anybody charging 35% commission is illegal, and I think that is what has fed into the public within the illegal space. Last year alone, the World Lottery Association estimates that the global body lost $1.3 trillion through illegal lottery activities. And we are hoping that this year the story will be different. And that is why we've been very serious at engaging the state security agencies. And in the coming weeks, the National Security and the National Signals Bureau will be operating undercover to make sure that we arrest all persons who are engaged in illegal lottery. On how much revenue the NLA raised, the NLA, through its online and on the POS, for our own revenue, we raised almost 290 million in total, and together with our collaborators as well. Last but not the least, we believe that when it comes to good causes, we owe it as a responsibility to the World Lottery Association, to the African Lottery Association standards, to the government of Ghana, and to the people of Ghana. Madam Minister, if briefly we can have the video on our health. I hope then there was a last question on the, sorry, Madam. Which one? So the benefits of it, you mean? Well, it's a very interesting question. The truth of the matter is, Ghana is currently certified as, we are on level 1. Level 1 simply means like no level. And clearly that means there are some key ingredients that you must have to be able to go beyond level 1. And they gave us stringent measures for us to have an advisory bureau, to have a center where we advise people on responsible gaming, and then we must also ensure that for 18 years and above. And even in the liquidation of the wins, we must ensure that if you are playing our game, you are 18 years and above. And then we also ensure that you don't spend more than some 2-3 hours just fixated on playing the game. So being certified for responsible gaming means, 1, you are responsible. 2, the World Lottery Association then recognizes you as a very serious lottery body. And then again, when it comes to some exchange programs, and then and investors as well, also coming in to support you. Last but not the least, every summit, every conference, you are also recognized as a member that we can deal with, and you are used as an example amongst your colleagues. Currently in Africa, we have that of Morocco and Ivory Coast being on level 4 for responsible gaming, and Ghana continues to be on level 1, which we've been on that level for the last 10 years. My sister is asking why. The why means that's what we are working towards, moving from class 1 to class 3, at least. On the, I'm sure there was a question on there was a question on the swoop and the arrest of some staff, as you spoke about today. I read it also in one of the tabloids. But basically, sometime last year, management realized that we had some unusual transactions on our system where, and within the standards of the WLA and the African Lottery Association, a classical example is if you have 1,000 people playing your game, an example, and let's say 200 people are successful and they win. About 7 to 10% of these 200 will not liquidate their wins. When the ticket is soiled, when the ticket is torn, when the ticket is damaged, when the ticket gets lost, you cannot liquidate the wins. But at the NLA, sometime last year, I realized that almost every day there's 100% liquidation of our wins, which cannot be. So management, together with board, we set out to find out more. And internally we tried. We're not too successful. So something happened late last year, which triggered us to have a second look at it. And together with our team from legal, we petitioned the National Signals Bureau to try and monitor these activities. 2 of these people were arrested in some remote parts of the country. And upon further interrogation, they also named their collaborator, who happened to be a staff of the National Lottery Authority. So the security apparatus subsequently apprehended that staff, and the staff is in custody and assisting with investigation. And we believe that as we also try to clear our lines and bring to the fore the activities of these illegal operators and people who are bent on sabotaging the efforts of the board and management, we are determined to also collaborate with the security agencies. Over the last few weeks, I have been on leave, but my understanding is that we've had the National Signals Bureau also visiting our offices frequently as they continue with the investigation. The board subsequently also granted the National Signals Bureau the approval to dig deeper, and almost all the issues that leads to revenue losses should be investigated from end to end. Thank you. I'm sure I answered yours. Okay. Okay. Minister, is that okay? Okay.
so please, we will take the last set of questions. Priority to those who haven't asked. And if we still have slots, I'll call you. 1, 2, 3, yes. Okay, I can see 2 other hands at the back. So, Nana, please.
Yeah.
Proceed.
Good morning, Honorable Director General. I have 2 questions for you. You did mention
Please,
that.
your name and affiliation.
My name is Nanapoku from Daily Searchlight.
Okay.
You did mention that you met a legacy debt of 15 million Ghana cedis. You have paid a substantial amount. We want to know how much you have paid and how much is remaining. And do you intend to clear all the arrears before you leave the scene? My second question, you did mention that you have some corporate social responsibility for the aged and PWDs, people with disabilities. What is the criterion? What is the modality? What must one do to access this facility or support?
Thank you for the questions. Okay, Paul.
Yeah. Good morning. My name is Paul Nyoje-Dalafu, and I report for the Daily Statesman. DG, in your presentation, as you continue to mention some of the support you've given to some rural areas, most especially I realized that they were centered in the southern area. I don't know whether you have done something in the northern part. And my next question is, do you consider any move to actually decentralize the activities of NLA? For instance, building some of your offices in the regions. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Okay.
So Ebenezer Kofi Antonsa with the Daily Guide. DG, mine is a quick follow-up. I think someone asked, but wasn't answered, how much you are losing to these illegal operators. You made mention that you've actually embarked on some series of programs to arrest these perpetrators, but we want to know how much you're losing to them over the years.
Thank you for the question. I saw one hand.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Francis Chamantin Okofigo. Yeah, DG, where you straight, maybe some customers, you know. Since you started to see since 1962, amount to na the same amount no mutua be pay money. Kwan bi wo ho amosesan ama we customers so e bi am prices because we have if he did that in utwa we 10 cities amount abedi 2,400 into the kwan bi wo ho may increase na and am me banker to bankers na omutwa wa drinking sport na say from mo hwe kwan bi so na money my man match choma na say mo ja omosa.
Thank you for the question. There was one last hand at the back. Okay, if it's been asked, okay, then I'll give the opportunity to those who have follow-up questions.
Yeah, thank you. As the DJ rightly said, that the NLA is making effort to demystify the perception about lottery in Ghana. Yet there are people, especially Christians, that when they see you going to stake for lotto, they look at you with different eyes, as in quote, as a sinner, like that. Yeah, they see you as a sinner going to stake lottery. And so apart from you conducting community draws, what other communication strategy are you embarking on to demystify this perception that sinners stake lotto? Thank you.
Okay, we take the last question.
All right, thank you. DJ, congratulations. You said NLA is now West Africa Lotteries Association member. My follow-up, my question, Busa DJ, and he said, a year Morocco seminar for the first time, Omo hosted gaming, no. Obey me, I can't check Ghana for. Sikado do say, na moti start ya muduremu, movie and snow, yenya bibi kakra ifrimu, ahi, any yenya frimu.
Thank you for the questions. I take that to be the last question. But after the presser, if you have any follow-up questions, you can call or talk to the PRO of NLA, Mr. Goodfellow Ofe, or the Director Corporate Affairs, Mame Kesoa Dolphine. And also, if you have any further questions on good courses, you can reach out to Ms. Amafre. Thank you. So I will invite DG back for his responses.
So, first of all, the NLA is not a member of the West African Lottery. We continue to be a member of the WLA and ALA. We don't have West Africa Lottery Association. We have African Lottery Association, for which we are now a member in good standing. And your question as to what we derived or what we got from the hosting of the Seminar on Responsible Gaming, as I indicated earlier, we hosted over 100 global leaders and players within the lottery space, some from the tech space and some from the very end-to-end solution of the game and its development. And again, it contributed significantly by also once again showcasing Ghana to these guests, many of whom had not been to Africa and Ghana before. And the good news too is that in terms of our hospitality industry, they also benefited greatly. Some also had the opportunity of visiting our slave castles and the World Heritage designated sites that we have in Ghana. Many thanks to the CEO for the Ghana Museums and Monument Board, who is here. His outfit supported us and facilitated the trip of the World Lottery leadership and the African Lottery leadership. For many who have heard of the story of the slave castles, the slave trade, the dungeons, to also get to witness what happened during that dark period of our existence. Also, my brother from Statesman also did ask a question as to why the NLA's good causes is centered more in the South. It's actually not. And I think the subsequent videos would have played, but we have some few technical hitches. If you go to WA like this, the Bahas Foundation, which is a home for the mentally afflicted, also benefited from our support and our generosity. If there's a famous case of baby Selena, who had more of a brain tumor, and the NLA had to come to the aid of the poor family. Several things that we've also done in Tamale and also across the northern part of our country. Also, the WA School for the Blind, they've also received some support from the NLA. This year, the board is also giving us indication that the NLA for the next 2 years aggressively will be embarking on the digging and the construction of more mechanized boreholes and toilet facilities as our support to the society, to the poor, and to the very weak, and for those who may not have access to good quality and potable drinking water. And just as the Honorable Deputy Minister said, if you're only in a car, you may not really understand what people go through in our rural areas. For some of us who have had the unique opportunity of traveling around the country, almost every city and every village in the country, sometimes you come face to face with the misery that our people go through. For them, what you see here as normal, to them is luxury. And so you may not understand. And when people try to also make fun that, sometime back we posted a picture of mechanized boreholes that we had embarked upon and dug for the people of Abutechi down within the eastern region. For many years, the people were drinking from a running stream. And if we show you the pictures and its attendant health effect, you will not understand. And that is why it was not for nothing that the chiefs decided to write to the NLA Good Causes Foundation to support them. Today, at least, they also have the benefits of potable drinking water. I think what caused the stir, in my estimation, was not the borehole, but the mischief that people attached to it that I think the poor decorator in that community who decided to put balloons and ribbons on the borehole, fine, but that is not even the point. The point I'm trying to make is it comes with a job. So if you have 5, 6 pictures and somebody decides to pick the one with the ribbons, and so Good Causes Foundation, going for it, stop dressing the poly tanks and the boreholes. You let it stay as it is, so that some of us too can sleep in peace. I was trying to help amplify the work you're doing. Mr. Obo, I'll say, they gave it to me proper. So now I'll look at the pictures and take the ones without the ribbons and the balloons when I'm posting. Lastly, what is the NLA doing to stop the activities of illegal lottery operators? As we have one journalist asking. I did indicate that it's a strong collaboration between us and the national security apparatus. And this time, we believe that we are going to be more aggressive. Because many of them will be plainclothes, they'll be able to integrate into the society and get accurate information before they conduct the arrest. Kofi asked the question of how much we pay the players and the winners. For now, we haven't reviewed it, and the price format and pay structure remains the same. But I quite remember you called me on one Sunday asking of what were the winning numbers the day before. Called very early in the morning. I'm sure that time, eyes clear, money finish, reality setting. So basically, what the NLA is seeking to do is to complement the efforts of government per our act, create moments of hope and exciting times, and to also support the citizenry through our good causes. You asked a question of how people can assess. I'll come to that. So the Good Causes Foundation, let me take the latter part and I'll come to the debt matter. The Good Causes Foundation, we have our doors open, but we have limited funds. It's only when we are lucky that the house wins that we use our share of our profit to support good causes. By convention, the NLA staff and management, we do not participate in the games. Because I'm sure if any of you should see any of my management members trying even our luck, you think that once the DG or this management member is trying, that this will be the winning numbers. You have people sometimes seeing you in time, so, car number, and when I don't even know the car number sometimes. So we do not participate in the games. But for you to assess the proceeds of lottery, the people normally write to the Director General, or sometimes when our attention is drawn to a situation, we go to support. Currently, for the judiciary, we are supporting them to build a police post for the judges as well to also help improve upon their security. And yes. Then the first part of your question was on the debt of the unpaid wins. I think the unpaid wins when we came was around 15 million. And then so far we've cleared more than 60% of that. So we're looking forward to also clearing the rest. But every day you have people winning. So every day you have debt. That's how it is. So as we clear the backlog, we are also remaining competitive by paying wins. If you cannot also say no, you want to pause and clear the backlog, and then you have the daily wins also piling up. So as much as possible, we want to create that balance. But for those that we've been unable to clear this, you have our assurance and our resolve that we are determined to play our role and to reward accordingly. As you ask that, am I going to clear all these before I leave? I cannot clear the one on the last day of my exit, because that will have to be paid by another person. But we'll continue to make the effort to clear majority of it. Quite a colossal amount. So sometime as of 2021, we had about almost 65% of our market in the hands of the illegal operators. But now it's somewhere around 40% in the hands of the illegal operators. And we keep working hard to make sure that this number is reduced significantly. And that is why we keep encouraging the public that if you play the game with an unlicensed operator, you yourself, you are setting yourself up for tragedy. Because when there is a big win, they will close their doors and they will run away. And that becomes very detrimental to the little that you had in your pocket to try your luck. So we are encouraging you, go with the brand, go with the NLA or our accredited private lotto operators. Yes, sir. On the stabilization. The decentralization, we have offices in 10 out of the 16 regions of Ghana. And then we also do have some offices that we are spreading across. For instance, we're looking at opening a branch in Asankregwa in the western region. We're looking forward to one in Kaswa as well. We're also looking forward to one at Manfi in the eastern region. And we continue to also open our doors to areas where the markets are developing. That of the Ashanti region, we are taking a closer look at it, and part of the Bono region as well. So we are there, but this is not the civil service where you need to have an office in every district. So as much as possible, we look at the market and we spread ourselves accordingly. It is our hope that within the next 2 years, we can be in all the administrative regions of Ghana. But once again, we look at the market, and then we know what we're doing. The 20%. Okay. Yes. Demystifying the lottery. That now we have multiple channels, and that is why for our customers and players, from the comfort of their homes, they can enjoy it on their mobile phone. And then for those who also be willing to also walk to our very cherished writers and retailers in the kiosk, they are also free to do that. But the reality is, the online, so what makes the situation more critical is that the online operations of the NLA is just about 17%. And if online alone this year is going to fetch us a colossal amount of 92 million, then if the online develops, it can rake in more. But strangely, the terminals, that's the one sold on the point of sale terminals, is the one that is supposed to bring us the hundreds and millions of cedis. But the activities of these axes of evil, these illegal operators, seem to have disabled our capacity. And that is why we have sought the assistance of the national security apparatus to partner us in ridding the system of illegal operators. And as I said earlier, the difference between Ghana and the Francophone countries, to be specific, Ivory Coast, Benin, Senegal, and Togo, and the rest is the discipline. Here, when you arrest somebody who is engaged in an illegal operation, you have sometimes chiefs, sometimes very prominent people, and coming in and giving you politicians as well, my former colleagues, politicians. So, and it makes the work very difficult. But if we can all say that, look, wrong is wrong, and you partner the NLA, we can generate more revenue to even assist. Last year, we started discussion in supporting the Ghana Journalists Association with some scholarship support as part of our good causes, something moderate to start. And this year, we're looking forward to honoring that promise that we made to the GJA when they visited us. At least something small to also build the capacity of our journalists and our media friends. For those who will be lucky to benefit from the NLA's Good Causes Foundation, we believe that you become an ambassador for the Ghanaian people and also support us in trumpeting the fact that it's better you play with us and not with the illegal people. Someone asked about our expenditure on the NLA at 60. The NLA at 60 was interwoven with the Allah Conference on Responsible Gaming, and the Allah sponsored its guest. So we tied our anniversary along the Allah event, which brought WLA, which brought Allah officials. So they paid for their own accommodation, paid for everything in relation to that. And the association committed in over $200,000 towards hosting their own event. What the NLA needed to do as our support was to make sure that that day everybody was there, get some small drink and food to chop. And that's our contribution. But if the media would like to also support us too as part of their CSR, we are always willing to welcome it. Thank you, Madam Minister. Thank you so much.
DG, in fact, I'm so excited that you made it here personally, but I believe this presentation has also been an eye-opener. Beyond the draws and the numbers, I don't think people know much about all the other wonderful things that you do at NLA. So it is my prayer that this will not be a once-off activity, but you continue to use our platform to educate the public and also to increase the number of patrons, especially among my generation and those after us. So thank you so much. On behalf of my minister, management and staff here at the Ministry of Information, I would like to express our profound gratitude to you, your deputy, and your able team. Yes, and to thank you for supporting ISD and our PROs this year. Without your generous contribution, we wouldn't have been able to do our annual training and peer review. So we are most grateful for the support that we receive from NLA. And we hope that in the coming years, we'll be receiving more support. So thank you so much for making time for today. And also to the press, as always, you have the platforms, and we believe you will use it to educate the public and let them know all the wonderful things that are happening at NLA. I would also like to use this opportunity to once again acknowledge and thank our media partners, GTV, Net2 TV, MX24, Asasi Radio, MOI Facebook team, Ochiman TV. Thank you all for carrying this presser live. Good morning.